Hello and welcome to my channel, and I am Stephanie, and this is the week 2, wow, wrap up for December the 9th through the 15th, and also Smutathon wrap up. As I said, this is the week 2 of December's wrap up. So December the 9th through the 15th, and also the Smutathon wrap up, because my weeks go from Sunday to Saturdays, and Smutathon went from a Monday to a Sunday, but it's my reading journal journey, so I'm going to do what I want, and this is going to be my wrap up for Smutathon. I read a total of 8 books this week, and I'm just going to jump into it. Since most of the books that I read this week were for Smutathon, I'm just going to incorporate that whole wrap-up thing that I do and let you guys know what I'm currently reading. And I got some book mail this week, so let's get into the books. So the first book that I read last week was Craving Mr. Kinky, which is book number 4 in the Mr. Wrong series by Madden and Joanne Schwehm. I placed this in contemporary. I read it for Smutathon in category of enemies to lovers, and I give this book 4.25 stars. I had it as an ARC earlier this year, but just now got a chance to listen to it as an audiobook, and this book follows Dante and Cassandra. Dante is the brother of Luca from book number 3, and he is a photographer. He's hot, he's sexy, he is just kind of domineering and things like that, but Cassandra is the 4th friend of the group. She is a school teacher, and she comes off as very put together, and I can't even find a word for it. She comes like packaged, not plastic, but packaged. So put together and nerdy and things like that. Well, they have a bit of an accident going to one of the friends' parties, and they have an accident, like a car accident, and they sass each other, and then it's just lots of back and forth, and he asked her to model for him, but Cassandra is also the best friend of Luca. So you have Luca's brother and Luca's best friend kind of bumping heads, and it's a fun ride. There were some things that I didn't necessarily like. No, it's not that I didn't like them. I just wasn't feeling this couple as much as I felt some of the other couples. I did enjoy the story, and I would listen to it again. That's what it was. So I listened to it as an audiobook, and I did not particularly care for the male narrator that they got. Dante is supposed to be Italian, and every once in a while you would hear his accent to be Italian, but for the most part his accent didn't fit how the story was supposed to go, so it kept throwing me off. I was just like, so maybe I should have read this one as the arc that I got it as in ebook form, because it just was not nice to my ears. That's what it was that kept throwing me out of the story. But otherwise, it was a good story. It had definitely had some great banter and sexiness that went along with it, and I enjoyed the story after I got his sound out of my ears. I couldn't get over that. The next book I read was Hollywood Scandal by Louise, and I placed this in contemporary for Smutathon. This was my Different Worlds category, and I give this book 4.25 stars. I listened to it in an audiobook, and this book follows Matt and Lana. So Alana is this small town girl that she makes jewelry, but she had an incident that happened to her while she was in college, and she decided to go back home to her small town in Maine. And Matt is a movie star who is in the spotlight, but has had some issues with the spotlight, and then he's filming something in Boston, so he ends up staying in Maine, I think. There's a reason. He's filming a movie. up there in the northeast. So he gets the house that Lana owns and rents out to vacationers for 6 to 9 weeks or something like that while they're filming, and they have these run-ins to each other, and they sort of get to know each other on a different level. And she knows, or she's heard his name before to know that he's a movie star, but doesn't really pay attention to that, and finds that he is sexy, and it was fire. It was fire. It does get a little emotional, and I am very, very surprised that I have been sleeping on this author. I have plenty of her other books, and I really enjoyed this one, so I'm really looking forward to diving in to her other books. The next book I read was Throb by Keeland. I placed this in contemporary, and for Smutathon, I read this book for Forbidden. And I give this book 4.25 stars as well. I listened to it on audiobook, and this book follows Kate and Cooper. Kate has some issues with her family where she decides that she's going to go on a reality show. Her father was a card shark back in the day, and she gets in on this game where she meets Cooper. Cooper is the head of a movie studio, and his brother, come to find out, is the executive producer of the TV show that Kate is going to be on. So there is that forbidden sort of feel to it. There's a lot of other family drama that goes along with it. And the reason I didn't give it a full 5 stars because it was fire. It was completely sexy. Whew, like flaming hot sexy. But I think that there were some issues that they had brought up that weren't completely fleshed out that I wanted a little bit more of. And overall, I really enjoyed the story, and I am super happy to be diving into Keeland's book repertoire and loving each one that I continue to read from her. So, yeah. The next book that I read was Their Second Chance by Katee Robert. I placed this in erotic short story. I give this book 4 stars. I listened to it in the podcast of Read Me Romance. Read Me Romance. Read Me Romance. Yes. Yes. Oh, I can't talk enough about that podcast. That podcast is amazing. And they just announced the next season's 20 authors this time. So excited for that, for more erotic short stories. Now, back to this one. This one follows Nomi and Isaac. Nomi is a princess or queen of a land, and Isaac was her security person that she ended up choosing her duty over her heart, and this is their coming back together sort of story. I only gave it 4 stars because I wanted more, and I'm going to get more because I'm going to read the story, the big trilogy that goes along with this. Although they aren't the main characters for the trilogy, they, I guess, have a very pivotal part or piece in that story, in that 3-book story, that I need to know more of. But it was hot. It was hot. It was hot. Woo-hoo-hoo! Another hot one. Just not sizzling, flaming, panties on fire hot that I would have liked. But I have a feeling that the trilogy will get me there. The next book that I read was The Deal by Elle Kennedy, and I placed this in New Adult. I read this one for Smutathon in Friends with Benefits category. I gave this book 3 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and this book follows Hannah, who is a nerd, like straight up nerd. She is in a philosophy course or ethics course, and she aces a test. Well, Garrett is the star hockey player of the campus, and he fails the test. Hannah likes a guy that is in the class as well, who happens to be a football player. And when Garrett sees Hannah's test to see that she aced it, he does everything he possibly can to get her to help him stay on the team. So The reason I wasn't feeling this book, and it definitely brung down my motivation for Smutathon this week, was because this story plays off of one of the tropes that I tread lightly with and really sort of criticize or judge harshly. And that trigger was rape. And so I'm okay with reading about rapes in the books that I read. However, this one played on it to a point that I was just like, okay, I get that she was raped when she was in high school. I get that she has issues, but you continually to tell me that she's had counseling and, you know, that she's worked through it. But on the other hand, she still has all these hang-ups and insecurities. I know it's not going to take an overnight change to have this happen. But you continue to tell me that you're working through it, or you've worked through it, and that you're better, but you still have it's like, ugh, it was just frustrating. It was so frustrating, so very frustrating. And then to put on top of that, Garrett was this, you're gonna help me get through it or save me type character, and that he had his own issues, and it was like, so it was like, you're going to save me, I'm going to save you, and we're just going to be saving each other. Drove me a little crazy and definitely slowed down my momentum. At one point, I was like, I'm done. I'm throwing in the flag. It took me 3 days to read this book, and I was like, ugh, Smutathon, what have you done to me? This is not. I mean, it had some sexy moments, but nah, not my idea of a book that I should be reading for Smutathon, personally. Just not. Then I picked up Jase by M.J. Fields. I placed this book in contemporary. I read it for Smutathon for slow burn. Initially, it was for fake relationship, but after I finished reading it, I had to move it to slow burn. Hallelujah, because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to read for slow burn. But this book, oh my God, I gave it 4.25 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and you would think that because I gave it 4.25 stars, you're like, well, it doesn't sound like you really liked it, Stephanie, right? No, I really enjoyed this book. This book caught me off guard. So you have 19-year-old Carly who meets Jase, this tattooed, pierced steel man. Because his last name is Steel. But he has brothers. It's very much an intro into the Men of Steel series. All the books, I believe, can be read as standalones, but this is the first one. So you're getting an introduction to a whole bunch of characters. But that's okay, because once you're introduced to them, they make other appearances within the book. But this story is definitely about Jase and Carly. Jase has some secrets, and he is a bit of a commitment-ophobe, but at the same time, once he saw and met Carly, he was like, yeah, I'm about you. I'm about you, yes. But Carly happens to be his best friend's cousin, so he has to tread a little lightly with hooking up with her. And Carly's a virgin. There we go. Yep. So they tread super, super lightly. She's also in college. She is a whiz. And then she ends up going from the summer after meeting Jase back to college. She hears that, or she has some issues with her dad who lives in the Jersey Shore while she's in California. And the only reason I dropped down my star rating for this was because there were some unflushed issues that were there, like with Carly's mom. That was sort of what happened there, that story arc kind of just came out of nowhere, and I was like, what? Okay, so that happened. And then there were some things with Jase that weren't completely explained as well. And I was like, wait, that happened. But overall, I'm like wanting to read the rest of this series because I want to know more about the other brothers that would go along and about the mom. And I really liked Jase and Carly's vibe back and forth. It's definitely, I don't know, maybe I should move this from contemporary to new adult. I think I will. I'm moving this to new adult because it's most definitely not YA. Definitely not YA. I would definitely think that it was more of a new adult book. So yeah, we're going to move that from contemporary to new adult. But that was just a tangent. Then I picked up Faking It by K. Bromberg. This is a contemporary. For Smutathon, I read this for fake relationships. Whew. Glad I had it in my library. I give this one 5 stars. Audiobook arc because it is an Audible original. You won't be able to get it in ebook or physical book form until January of 2019, I believe. But if you have an Audible subscription, it is in the romance package so you can listen to it. This book follows Zane and Harlow. So good. So very good. I read one of K. Bromberg's books a couple months ago and loved it, and this one I'm loving too. I'm definitely going to be finding more K. Bromberg books, especially if they continue to be like this one. So Zane is this man-made, self-made millionaire and playboy. He has invested in a company that is all about finding your soulmate online via AI. And well, Harlow is a model that has had jobs, but the jobs didn't necessarily pan out to be stardom. And Zane mistakes Harlow for being a dog walker and is like, yo, here, take my dog. I need you to walk him. And Harlow's like, but I'm not, Harlow was going to a job interview, which she ends up missing because Zane mistook her for a dog walker. So what does she do? She ends up breaking a heel while she's walking the dog. And when she returns the dog to Zane, she's like, you suck and you need to pay for my shoes. So that's what Zane does. Zane is like, ooh, I'm loving her curves and yes, I need to get a piece of that. Instant attraction right there. So he sends her some very expensive, pretty shoes and invites her to a party, a networking party. Well, this networking party happens to be the networking party that Zane is throwing for his investment into this new app, online dating, soulmate finding company. Harlow meets Robert, who is the silent partner for Zane, or the person that Zane is wooing. And they have some banter because Harlow sees an opportunity and she plays on the opportunity. And then they are caught in a bit of a lie and they have to fake their relationship. The banter is great. The sex is fire. I could not put this book down. I read it in almost one sitting, practically. Yeah, it was fire. It was hot. It was so hot. And I loved every single minute of it. Yes. Then the final book that I read, that technically I finished this morning, but it's still going on the list for this because it's my list and it's my journaling and it's me. It's all about me. Is Checkmate, This Is War. This is book number 1 in this series duet, or the Travis and Viola duet. And this is by Kennedy Fox. I placed this in contemporary. I wanted to place it in rom-com, but then again, it's not really a rom-com. And I'll explain why in just a second. So I'm placing in contemporary. For Smutathon, I read it for One Night Stands, and I give this book 5 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and I listened to a couple chapters last night before I went to bed, and then I finished it up today. Nonstop. Was like, hey boys, my husband and my son, you guys can go grocery shopping. I'm gonna stay. I got to finish listening to this book, and then I got to do this video for you guys, and I was like, I got to finish. And when I finished, I was like, what the fuck? cliffhanger for one. And thank the Lord that these books are in the romance package, because I got to know what is going on with this book. I haven't even given you the stars. I give it 5 stars. 5 humongous stars. Audiobook. This book follows Travis and Viola. Like I said, Travis is the boy from across the street, and Viola's brother's best friend and roommate. Well, they grew up together. She had a crush on him since they were young, 10 years old for her, and 12 or 13 for him. And then on her 13th birthday, he says some things that she overhears. And now they have a love-hate relationship. Well, mostly hate. I hate you. With a fiery passion. Viola hates Travis. And they're back and forth. This definitely could fall into many other categories besides just the one night stand. But when they finally get to that one night stand, it's freaking fire. Fire. Straight fire. And then the ending was just, oh my God. I legit was like, what just happened? I need to get the rest of these books. I got to get the rest of these books. Yes. So, yeah. So good. So that, those are my Smutathon and last week's wrap up, and just, so amazing. So very amazing. It was such a good reading week, and I enjoyed it. Even though I had that little lull there at day 3, 4, 5. I'm glad I got my groove back. I was like, yeah. Finished it up strong, and I can't wait for more Smutathon, for another round. That's going to be great. So let's get into what I am currently reading. And I'm currently reading Locke by Debra Anastasia. This book follows Ember is the sister of our main character from Mercy. And I'm just getting into this, but I can see it's going to be a good one. I did a live cover release for this book on my Instagram stories. Not like you can go back and see it because it happened on the 16th, but I definitely put the cover up. This cover is fire, and I have a feeling that this story is going to be fire, and I can't wait to get into it even more than I already am. Whew. Can't wait, can't wait, can't wait. Then the other book that I am currently reading is Tossing It by Rachel Robinson, and this is the second book in the Bronze Bay series of standalone books about the seals that moved down to Bronze Bay, and I'm enjoying this one. This book follows Milena and Leif. You open with finding out that Milena is pregnant, so now I'm trying to figure out where Leif comes into this and how she met Milena, how the two of them, how Leif and Milena met. So that's where I'm at with that one. I love the Bronze Bay series, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. It's a short book, fairly short book, so I'm pretty sure I'll be jamming through it, and you guys will be hearing about it next week. So those are the books that I'm currently reading. I got book mail. Got an awesome package right here. And this isn't a surprise book package. This is, I ordered the new covers for the Jefferson, Seasons of Jefferson series, and they're absolutely stunning. Let me show you the old covers. I'm missing one, but I'm working with the authors to get that old cover as well, but these are the old covers. So the series starts off with When Fall Breaks, and I think it'll flash out, but there you go. There's that one. And you also have The Dead of Winter. And you have Secrets of Spring, which is right here. And I need to get a physical copy of that book. But they revamped the book covers, and now I have the new ones. And look at those spines. They're so pretty. They're so pretty. So now we have When Fall Breaks in this gorgeous orange cover. This series is by Julie Solano and Tracy Justice. And then we have Dead of Winter. Oh, I love this one. I'm a huge, huge fan of the blues and the purples that come out on these covers. Oh my goodness. Oh, and this one is so pretty. I love it. Secrets of Spring is in the pink. Love these. Love these. And they fit so pretty together. I'm going to look totally gorgeous on my shelves. This series is about 4 teenagers. And I really, really enjoyed this series because it deals with some real issues when it comes to teens. I think this is a great YA series for those of you that are looking for YA. There are hints of steamy parts, but not so much that it would be out of place for a YA reader to enjoy these. A true young YA reader to actually read these, and they have really good messages within them. One deals with PTSD, one deals with social media and bullying and harassing, and one deals with domestic violence. So I say if you have a youngster in your life that needs something relatable, definitely have them check out this series by Tracy and Julie, because it is definitely very informational without being textual and unenjoyable like some textbooks can be, because yeah. And then they also provide information in the back of the book once you get finished with the story to know, you know, which one goes with which, and how you can avoid or minimize those situations that are, you know, might happen in your life. But these are definitely relatable books, and I really enjoyed them. I don't do a lot of colored spines. I don't know if you guys can see back there, but there really aren't a lot of colored spines back there, but I do love me a colored spine. So that is my book mail and what's going on in my life. Yes, winter break's coming up and, you know, what have you. If you guys haven't been watching my other videos, you know that my nomination videos have been coming out here lately. You have about 3, maybe 4 more that are coming out to find out who are all the people that are going to be nominated for my Bookish Academy Awards next year. I have already set up my calendar for January, so your videos are going to be coming hot and heavy, and I'll be recording those, and hope you guys are excited about January, so you get to see all my, you know, best ofs, worst ofs, stats, and everything like that. So please, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. As always, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.